Aloha. Wow. It is very quiet out here. If you discount the flies. Today I am in the Dismal Swamp. And it is dismal on a boardwalk that comes out into the middle of nowhere. So swamps are the things that I've spent the fewest times in. And I think today I have learned the definition of old black water. So I did a video yesterday, and that was because I had a feeling a whole bunch of people were going to do videos today. I wanted to talk about the holiday, but I decided to do another one today. We had some issues with the one yesterday as far as actually getting it out to people, and I wanted you guys to, I wanted an opportunity to say hi and just talk about some stuff that it's important to me, especially serving our country in the military for as long as I have. I think I've been around the world enough. I've talked to a bunch of different cultures enough, developed friends in other countries. I've developed enough subject matter expertise to talk to you all about this. So if you look at, if you look at the great thinkers, Jesus, all the prophets, Buddha, Confucius, all of the founding fathers, we'll say, and the revolutionaries, and even the mathematicians and the people that have brought us to where we are today. At the end of the day, when you boil it down to the way they all of them, they have their own audience. They have their own way of approaching things, and so their writings are all different, but there's a common thread through all of them. And I think that Jesus says it the way that at least Americans understand it the easiest, and so I'm going to put it out that way. And that's on his Sermon on the Mount. He said, love your enemy as you love yourself, right? His extra commandment was to love me as you love yourself. It's all about opening your heart, right? There's different definitions of love. Everyone can argue about what he actually meant there because, English is such a horrible language. But something that America has done, and please, especially if you decide to comment about this, I am not talking about the political situation that's going on at all right now. I'm talking about stuff that we want to talk about in the High Achievers Network. We want to talk about being successful. We want to talk about making ourselves better. Yesterday I talked about stepping out for you, right? That you've got to do it. It's got to come from you, and it's got to be for you in order to make yourself a better person for whoever else is important to you, whether it be your team or your children or your country or whatever it is that you're marching on. So what I want to talk about today in conjunction with that is, why is that so important? Why would we want to do that? Okay, fine, we found the courage in order to step up, but why is stepping up such a big deal? Stepping up is such a big deal. Opening your heart is such a big deal because that's what allows us to have community. That's what allows us to truly reach each other. And I think everybody understands the reality that the reason that there's so much angst going on in most of the places in the world right now is because, we're just not willing to talk to each other. We're not willing to put everything aside, open our hearts, realize that the people on the other side with other ideas, they're humans, and they all want the same thing, right? We all want what's best for our families, our communities. We may have different ideas of what's best, but at the end of the day, we all, can agree this is what basic humans need. And the only way you can get that is to soften yourself up, open your heart, and realize that sometimes you're talking to someone and the communication isn't happening because they're speaking at the best level that they have, right? They're giving you everything they got, and you're giving them everything you got. And if their communication's still not happening, then allowing frustration to come into that is what breaks down the communication, gives us no chance of making any progress. So if there's someone in your team or in your office that you're not communicating with, remember, right? We're in America celebrating the Declaration of Independence Day because a whole bunch of people were looking for a place where they could get along with people better. Let's start getting along with people better. Let's start achieving higher relationships. Let's start making ourselves better people by opening up our hearts to new ideas and new people and working through whatever communication barriers need to happen in order to make the community grow. Making the community grow, that's doing the do's.